Well, yes, here we are back again. It's Trudy here from Hot Patterns with the second part of part 3 of our sew along. The first part we called 3A, and we had to basically chop part 3 into these two different sections because halfway through filming we realised there's a lot to tell you. There's not a lot to do, but there's a lot to show you, so it makes your life easier. So that's what we've done. So in part 3A, we prepared our pockets, cut them out, edged them, very important. We made a cell phone pocket, we made a zipper pocket, and then, because we are like that, we applied the phone pocket on top of the zippered pocket, just to give you another option. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make some layered pockets. This is kind of a really key feature for this one, and they're surprisingly easy to make. So we're going to do layered pockets, we're going to complete the lining for the front and back sections of our tote, and then we'll do the central lining. And that's it, that's your lining prepared. Nothing too tricky at all. So let's start with a close-up of our layered pockets and how we're going to lay them out. Oh, the other thing I should tell you is this. Your configuration of pockets may be completely different to mine. It's all okay. You can do, whatever stitching you want, you can divide them up any way you want. I'll show you when we come in closer. Now, you can see I've laid out here 3 different strips of pockets. Larger pocket, medium pocket, and yes, a smaller pocket. It is like Goldilocks and the 3 bears here. So I'm going to lay these 3 up because this works really, really well for me. As I just said, if you don't want to do it this way, you can just put, just do that. Just do big and small pockets, whatever you want to do. But here's what I'm going to do with it. I am going to mark off my central point, my central line of my pockets, really just with a crease like that, no big deal. And that's where I'm going to sew up, and I'm going to sew through, obviously this thickness, and obviously that thickness. And obviously that thickness too. And then I'm going to flip this one back and do some pen lines here. So I will end up with 2 big pockets, 2 medium pockets, a small pocket, and loads of little kind of pen areas here. So I'll show you how to do that because that works really well for me. But you will also see the very big and very important thing to do, which is if you don't want them all to be like this size, when you come up to doing a pocket, you have to flip the back one back and you'll start doing your pencil things like that. Trust me on this. So let me go ahead and sew it up for you and you'll see what I mean. I actually thought before I sewed it I'd show you it marked up because it's probably easier for you to understand what it's marked. I'm going to do a row of stitching up the centre here, all the way through all the thicknesses and right up to the top of the middle pocket. So that'll give me 2 bigger pockets, 2 medium pockets, 1 small, and then another one I'm going to play with. And then, because I want some pencil kind of delineation on here, I've drawn 3 marks an inch apart. An inch or 2.5 centimetres will give you a nice enough room for a pencil or a pen. So once I've done that, I've pinned, but I've only pinned through those layers. Trust me when I tell you that's what you need to do, because if you don't, you're going to have an awful lot of pen openings that you really don't need. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sew up here to here and then flip that back 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to baste it all the way around the edge. So when I come back, one side of my pockets, of my layered pockets, is already done. So now I've done my stitching, so I've got my layered pockets, well, layered really, and obviously I've got pocket here, I've got 2 big pockets here, and this is going to be 1 big pocket. You'll see when I put it onto the backing. This has got the 3 lines of stitching that will give me room for pencils or pens. In fact, if I'm smart, I could pop in a little pair of scissors, I can do pens in here. Really, just saying, if you want to make a sewing tote, this is kind of the thing you want to do. So that's really useful there. And when I take the other one, the zippered pocket with the foam pocket in the front, I know you've only got 1 foam, probably, I'm hoping, but when you make this, I would make 2 of these foam pockets because they also fit your sunglasses or reader's case in really, really well. So that's certainly what I use one of mine for. So now we've got some pockets layered up, it's time to put the backing on them and then join the side pieces of the lining to give you kind of a lining loop. And these loops are what's going to go into the front and back sections of your bag. So here is how we do it. We have our squares of lining. I think they're pretty square. And you are literally just going to baste one to the other. Right side of lining, the lining back, to wrong side of your pocket back, because when you open up your pocket you want to see pretty shiny lovely lining there. So you're going to do that on that one. You're going to do the same on this one. This one will be slightly, the scissors in there. This one will be slightly different because now you get another large pocket here when you do that. So I'm going to go and baste these all around and then bring the camera in close again for you to see them, because that's really useful for you to see. And then we get to joining the lining to make the lining loop for the front and the back of your tote. Okay, so there is our layered up multi-pocket. There is another layered up multi-pocket. This one, of course, is the cell phone with the zip pocket. And now I have to join these two to these two side pieces of the lining, which is going to make a loop. So we're going to add one to this side, one to this side, and then obviously this one goes on there. So we're just going to get a loop. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to show you how that looks. I don't know if you've noticed, I've given it an overlock, the top edges of this, the outer edges, because it's fraying so much. It's beautiful lining, but it does fray like crazy. So I'm going to do that and give you a loop, and then that's really all we can do on the layered pockets for now. All we have to do after this is the central lining. So there is our finished lining loop. Obviously this is inside out from the way it's going to be in the bag. But you can see we've got your layered pockets that could be the front or the back, and the zippered and foam pocket front or back, you choose, and it'll go in kind of like this. Obviously that's not going to go in until we're completing the bag, so we're putting it all together. But you need to do two of these lining loops. Don't forget pocket configuration any way you like it. I've done my bag that I'm using at the moment, I've done it pretty much exactly like this, except on one of the sides I didn't do the pencil lines, because I need so many pencils in a bag, quite frankly. But the rest of them I've done pretty much the same, and they're super, super useful. I can't begin to tell you. So that's our lining loop with all our pockets for the front and the back sections. And now we are going to complete part 3B of our sew along by doing the central section lining. It's easier than you can possibly imagine. Okay, for your central section lining, you have got 3 pattern pieces. The first one is the bottom. We are not using that today. That's going to be when we put it all together. So we'll put that to one side. The other parts you have a front and a back, which is this large piece here, a pair of those. And then you've got the upper strip. If you remember, we have an upper strip on the tote itself, and we use the same piece to do the upper part of our zippered pocket. So this pattern piece gets a lot of hammer, I have to tell you. Okay, so we've got a pair of those. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to construct it as though it was the bag. It's basically a skinnier version of the bag. I should point out to you at this part, if you want to add pockets into your central section, you can do that. You can use the same pockets. The difference is you would have to turn in the sides and the top edges as well, because you're going to seal them right down at the bottom, and I'd centralise them like that because you don't want them going around to the corners. So if you wanted to put small pockets in, go ahead and do so. Personally, I find that having the central section kind of free of pockets is actually better for me, but that's just me, so you choose how you want to do it. So yeah, you can do the same layered pockets, single pockets, whatever you want, just centre them up and make sure you press the sides around like that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to join one of our upper strips to here and the other end to here. And remember when we did this before, we ended up with a hole or an opening here, which is where our front or back section is. We're going to close that one up on this one, and I will show you it in a moment. And once we've done that, we press it open and we just join the side seams from the bottom up to the zipper notch. And that is it. That's really it for the central section linings for now. Easiest thing in the world. So let me do this in kind of bits in process, and I can show you it, and you will see what I mean, because it is very simple. Okay, so apologising once again for the threadiness of this lining, you can see we've got one single seam right across here, and I've done it in 2 different methods. I've pleated this one back, and this one I haven't. Doesn't make any difference. If you look at the layout of that, it's kind of like short there, long there. So it's really easy to do. You just have to make sure that when you come to these corners here, just like we did with the tote, little snip in there, you're good. And that's the front and back of the lining prepared to be joined at the sides. And so by the simple method of just joining the front part of the central lining to the back part of the central lining, we've basically got ourselves a little kind of tote shape, but it happens to be in lining. There it is, looking rather lovely. Obviously when we use this, it'll be inside out because we want to see that side on the inside of the bag. I've pressed under my seam allowances here just to keep it neat and tidy because fraying, let's not go there. So yeah, that's our central section, done, easy peasy. We've got our front and back pocket sections of the linings. So next time in part 4 of our Red-Hot Mama sew along, here's what we're going to be doing. We are going to be putting the linings in. We're going to be putting the bottom of the bag in and just kind of finishing up. Not actually as hard as you may think because we've done really the bulk of the work already. So looking forward to seeing you back at part 4 when we're going to finish it, and then you will have your beautiful new Red-Hot Mama multi-pocket tote.